Welcome back. We're running home stretch, just about 15 minutes at the end of the program, and we've been looking at the Nigerian economy, inflationary trend, and of course its consequences, if there are any. And we have been talking to Damilola Akibami and Raphael Yimito, both are economists from the Financial Derivatives Company Limited. Thank you, gentleman, and I can call you gentle lady.
No, definitely.
For coming on. It's still been a part of our show. Now, I want us to move on now. Inflation targets, and before while we're on break, I was just trying to have a chat with you on that. We don't do inflation targets in Nigeria, except it's something new to us somehow. Because I look at a country like South Africa, they do. The Reserve Bank of South Africa does inflation targets, and that has been on for a number of years. But I think now we begin to see the benefits. If you would tell me what benefits there is to inflation targeting for our economy. I'm going to start with Raphael.
For inflation targeting, I would say we have been doing inflation targeting in a way. Okay. For example, the CBN this year has a target of less than 10%, but not specific. That okay, we want inflation.
Is it really between within a band?
Within a band, yes. So okay. In a way, that's inflation targeting, because you can't run an economy without having certain variables in place, saying like the oil price benchmark and all of that. Every year there is always a target, but they have other responsibilities, like the price stability, growth, and some other things the NPC look at before they make their decision. So we've had inflation below the target, and so if the CBN was focused on only inflation, probably we'll have seen the benchmark interest rate come down from where it is currently. But because they are considering other factors, then they have to move on to other things. Okay. Or like the other countries you mentioned that focus on inflation to make their monetary policy decisions.
Okay, Damilola, what's your take on that?
Well, I would just add to what my colleague has said, that for any central bank, price stability and exchange rate stability are two of the major objectives. And like he mentioned earlier, the benchmark interest rate has been at 12% for a long time, at least for over a year and all that. And that has been helpful in keeping inflation below 10%. And at the same time, it's also been used to actually target exchange rate stability. So it's something we have every year. There's always a target. Even if it's not specifically mentioned, there's always a target. And now for next year, the CBN governor has said there's a target of 6 to 9% for inflation. We are of the opinion that inflation may actually increase above that because of various factors and all that. But like I mentioned, there's always a target. Yeah.
Okay, I just want us to look at this. There's been this issue about having low inflation rate, low exchange rate, and low interest rates. Do these go together?
Oh, yes.
Do you think we can achieve that?
Do you think that's a trilemma? Keeping inflation low, having a reasonable level of interest rates, and having a stable currency. It's a trilemma that every CBN governor or every central bank rather faces and all, because you have to find out, okay, are you going to focus on inflation right now, or are you going to focus on exchange rate, or are you going to try and grow the real sector?
So balancing the three,
it's a challenge. And we've had interest rates high, at least for a while now, and we've seen the effect on inflation. We have a low inflation rate. Our currency also has been stable. And why is that? Because we have an attractive interest rate. We've seen a lot of capital inflows because of that, and which has also helped to stabilize.
It's 12% attractive. Let me ask Raphael. No, because when you say it's attractive, there's been a call for Sanusi to let us drop, because we've had inflation on a downward trajectory. But right now, we've seen it just rise a little bit. Do you think that could be a good reason to continue to tighten?
Exactly.
Do you think the central bank will likely tighten them more? Because if inflation rate rises a second time, it may have to hold on to the NPR. Do you think that may likely happen?
Yes, the central bank already gave us the indication that they are not moving their stance based on other factors.
Okay.
But inflation going up again at this time, and probably in December, if the results comes out and then it goes up again, then the CBN might just consider further tightening.
there's been concerns that banks are not lending because of high interest rates. What does this spell for us, for the economy, for those business owners who are looking up to getting facilities from the banks? And now that we've seen inflation seems to move up a little bit and perhaps move up again. Wouldn't that, have some kind of negative impact to the hopes that we have in terms of getting money from the banks?
Well, the thing is, okay, even if interest rates are brought down, is that going to encourage bankers to lend more credit? We don't know that. But the thing is that everyone is interested in getting positive real returns. And if inflation is going to go up, there's no incentive to bring interest rates down, because if you have an inflation rate of, let's say, maybe 10, 11%, and you bring your interest rate down to as low as 9%, they're going to be recording negative returns, and no investor wants to record negative returns. So, and like we've mentioned, there's the inflation going up to 7.9 in November is just showing that, yes, there are still inflationary threats in 2014. And this is one of the reasons why the CBN has said that the tightening stance is not over yet. There's still a high possibility of there going to be maybe further tightening, maybe an increase in CRR or whichever stance or measure it wants to use to increase or to ensure that at least price is stable and exchange rate is stable. And we're moving to an election year. We're going to see increased government spending, and there's the risk of a possible revenue shortfall because of oil prices.
We've had revenue shortfall.
Yes.
We're concerned that the government is not getting enough remittances from the NNPC. That is one.
Yeah.
The states are not getting enough allocation. They're complaining that the government isn't paying them enough to be able to run their state. So all of these factors, do they mean anything?
Yes, they do.
Affect the
you mentioned oil price. Nigeria is an oil and gas dependent economy, so anything that happens in the global oil market would affect Nigeria. And also, even looking at our production, production has suffered a lot from a lot of shut-ins and oil theft. So a combination of these, oil prices decline and our production is flat or even declines further, obviously revenue would be greatly affected. And if we're moving to a year of increased spending, if you have increased government spending and your revenue is falling, this is going to widen the deficit. So then how does the government fund this deficit? The obvious reason is the obvious option is to increase borrowing. And if investors don't do this, the CBN might have to print more money, and printing more money has inflationary pressure. So you can say that there's that link to everything. So it's one of the reasons why, again, the CBN has said that fiscal overdrive remains a major concern, especially now that we're going into 2014 and election year.
Okay, when we look at the fact that oil prices may be on the rise and our refineries aren't working.
Oil prices may not be on the rise. Our outlook is that oil prices may actually soften below what the
right now Iran is exporting. I understand it's producing now. The sanctions have been lifted.
Exactly.
To some extent.
Has increased its production.
Yeah, so all of this, apart from the fact that we have shale oil, which is another concern, that's another topic entirely.
Exactly.
The US now have more reserves, and depend on our oil. So the revenue inflow may decrease in that respect. Also, there's been plans to build refineries. Dangote and some other banks have been plans to get monies.
Yes.
The Ministry of Finance has told us several times that they've been able to mobilize some funds from the banks, both international banks and locally, in billions of dollars to help, boost the economy, ensure that refineries are working. Now, these indications, do they have any form of positive outlook for our economy if we build our refineries, for instance, if we don't have to import refined oil, refined crude again? Do you think it's going to help bring down those figures and make lives easier for Nigerians to live?
You've mentioned 2 points. I'll start with the first one about increase in supply. At least most of the oil producing countries like Iran, Libya, and Shell. So if there's an increase in supply, this is going to have a supply glut in the market, and in economics, if your supply exceeds your demand, this brings down prices. That's why I said that oil prices might not necessarily rise.
Okay.
And again, the thing is, if your prices fall and your production is flat, obviously your revenue might or should be greatly affected and all that. So that is one thing. You mentioned another thing about refineries. It's a good thing for Nigeria to actually diversify and invest in building new refineries like what Dangote is doing and all that, because then it reduces the amount or our cost of importing oil, because we import refined oil. We produce oil, but we actually import.
Exports.
We produce, but what we import is the refined oil. And also, if we can develop refineries within Nigeria, if we can build new refineries, the ones that are existing, upgrade them to international practices, and at least they meet international specs and all that. Obviously, that would reduce our dependability or dependence on imported oil. And that would also reduce the cost.
All right, Raphael, at what point do you think the central bank will begin to bring down its MPR? I'm just curious, really, because it's been a very tough, decision, for the Apex Bank to hold on tightly to MPR. And of course, inflation is one of the reasons why they are holding on tightly to that. But at what point do you think, because we're going to the election year, it's a difficult question I'm asking, I know, but as an economist that you are, what do you think may happen? What tricks do you think can be played to ensure that
for us, we don't see the CBN or the MPC bringing down rates anytime soon, because other factors and other things that we see happening in 2014 are not things that would encourage the committee to bring down their rates. One of the factors is the fiscal spending, oil price drop that you just discussed. If oil price decline, then we have revenue shortfall, and then other external shocks, such as capital flight, as if the US starts tapering and all of that, then we have capital flight, and we have close to or over $200 billion going out of our reserves from what they are currently. So that rate cuts is not happening soon, and we don't see it happening even in 2014.
So that tapering, are we exposed to that in any way? Do you think your economy could be exposed to whatever likely consequences?
We're exposed in a way, but if we compare Nigeria to other countries, like earlier this year there was this anticipation of the Federal Reserve commencing its tapering sooner than expected, until when Bernanke came out to announce that they were going to postpone it. And around that time, we realized that a lot of countries' currencies, especially emerging markets, their currencies depreciated. Now, Nigeria, our currency also depreciated, but ours depreciated by maybe 1-2% compared to South Africa that depreciated by close to 8-10%. So Nigeria is exposed, and that is why the CBN is trying to ensure that there are a lot of buffers in place. If your interest rate is high enough, that reduces the exposure and all that. And the IMF even recommended that emerging markets should depreciate their currency, because by depreciating your currency, you really devaluing. No, devaluation and depreciation are two different things. Okay. Devaluation is a sharp.
We had that some time ago.
But depreciation is a gradual shift. You allow your currency to gradually shift to near equilibrium.
But so who gains? When we depreciate our currency, for instance, who gains? Do we start to gain anything?
Exports are cheaper.
It's been getting cheaper over the years. It's been getting cheaper over the years, and when it gets cheaper,
you're preserving or protecting your reserves. Do you understand? Because then the CBN doesn't have to spend or use as much to defend the naira. Because if you allow your currency to move now, let's say for instance, shift the midpoint from 155 to 165, obviously what you would need to ensure as in naira is within a particular value or range would be less. So that's one of the benefits of actually depreciating your currency, because it reduces the pressure or reduces the rate of depletion in your reserves. And I'm sure you're aware of the depletion in reserves to like 44.3 billion.
We don't have much time really. Yes. Just one last question to Raphael. When we talk about our currency, because she said that just 1%, I'd say 1% is just very significant. We've seen the parallel, rather the difference between the official exchange rate and the parallel. They're not close in any way, especially in recent times.
Yeah, that's because the funding to the parallel market has been streamlined. It has been reduced. So
to the RD retail transaction, that's one of the ways, I think.
Yes, that's the way the
you have to be detailed in everything you're buying from the central bank. I'm afraid that's how much we can take at this point. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your time with us. We were talking to Damilola Akinbami and Raphael Yemiton. They're both economists from the Financial Derivatives Company Limited, and we have been looking at inflationary trend in Nigeria for the year There's been a drop in inflation, except now there's just a slight increase for November. And that's where we wrap the program. We appreciate your time with us on the show. We hope you join us for the midweek edition tomorrow. I am Bolaji Akinwale. This track is coming up next.